Yo, what's going on, guys? Johnny GB here, bringing you guys week 1 of the International Competitive Battling Association, the ICBA. Brand new league, brand new start, and it's the only league I'm playing in, so my focus is going to be 100% divided into this, and I'm actually very excited. I'm going to be trying things different, going 2 leagues at most at a time. 3 I saw was a real hassle for me. Really affected my prep and play, and this game was kind of the third game I played. I had week 10 of the PMC and semifinals for the PGL to play this week. So my prep this week wasn't on point, but you know what? The matchup I had was very well, so it was very easy to prep, honestly, for Neon Zero or Heavy Metal Pokemon. We've played Eric several times, actually, and we have a very good record against him. And he's going to lead off with his Uke now. I let off my Garchomp just because I felt like it was a pretty safe lead. Not much on his team really likes taking a hit from Garchomp. Now, I just go straight out to Spiritomb. Maybe try to have him not get Pursuit trapped. And he's just going to get his Stealth Rocks up, which is actually very crucial because my only hazard removal I brought this week was the Aerodactyl. I do wish I brought Mega Blastoise this week, but Aerodactyl actually fit the team a lot better. As he goes out today to remember his own Blastoise, and I'm able to catch that with a Toxic right away, which is what I want. I want that thing to be toxic. I want Blastoise taking damage every so often. Now, I have the leftovers here. The set I have is Sucker Punch, Shadow Sneak, Toxic, and Pain Split. So, not much I can really do to Blastoise. It's just going to eat up Shadow Sneaks and several other hits. So I'm going to go to my Kecleon. I think it's a perfect chance for me to get my Stealth Rocks up at this point. But instead, he shows off Roar, so he's probably set up to deal with setup sweepers. Spiritomb, I debated on bringing Rest Talk with Dark Pulse to essentially just sweep his team if I could get it set up versus Blastoise, but you know what? That was real risky bring because it does lose a taunt. So I'm going to bring back Garchomp just in case he does show Ice Beam or gets a Scald Burn. I really do not want my Garchomp getting burned. And he's going to show off the Scald here, showing that he's physically defensive. He knew he could take a hit. And Kecleon doesn't get burned. Kecleon with the base 120 special defense, able to take that hit very well. And you're going to see this toxic damage starting to whittle down his Blastoise. Now, he's going to withdraw his Blastoise. I believe he actually goes out to his Raikou. Now, this thing gives me problems. I've never played good against Raikou, mostly because I'm not too sure what it'll bring in League. It has very nice base 115 speed stat. So I'm going to get my Stealth Rocks up here, and I'm not too sure what his set is. He could be Specs, he could be Life Orb, he could be Calm Mind. So I just go out to my Jolteon, pretty much just expecting him to Volt Switch out. Instead, he goes for the Substitute, and this is where I got real concerned, because I have nothing to take, or to break this thing sub. I removed Synchro Noise from Jolteon last second. So all I'm able to do is just go for a Signal Beam. I got rid of Life Orb, and I got rid of Synchro Noise on my Jolteon. And here he's just going to go for the Toxic, so he's going to show Toxic Raikou, and now my Jolteon is thrown onto a timer. Granted, Jolteon's matchup really was mostly to take out Blastoise. Outside of that, there was not real much of a threat that Jolteon was able to deal with. So I'm just going to go for the Volt Switch here to try and break the sub, and that is what I'm going to end up doing, but he will just end up setting up a sub as I go out to my Garchomp, and at this point it's just like I'm in a tough situation. My Garchomp's come in twice on Rock, so I'm sitting right around 90%, and I was calcing around to see what Raikou could do to me, and HP Ice did 86 to 97%, so it was in his favor to get a roll to knock out my Garchomp, and going for Earthquake was pretty much my only play. Garchomp did so much, Scarf Garchomp did so much versus his team. I was just not prepared for the sub Raikou. But now his substitute's broken. I can go out into my Aerodactyl and bluff the Earthquake. I was Roost, Defog, Pursuit, and Stone Edge. Pursuit was there for Victini because I can check Victini offensively with this. And I wanted to click Pursuit here, but instead I just go for the Stone Edge as he goes out to his Uxie. I feel like Pursuit would have been very good to just get a good amount of damage off on that Raikou. You see Uxie take about 40% there, so he showed me right there that he wasn't really max defensive on this Uxie. It looks like he had a little bit of special defense onto it, and it actually helps out later in the game, as I'm just going to go off to Jolteon here. Jolteon at this point really doesn't do much the rest of the game. Blastoise is toxic, it's on a timer. I have Stealth Rock, so he's taking chip damage from the rocks, and then he's taking more chip damage from the toxic. As my Jolteon here, I pretty much just clicked Volt Switch here. Wasn't really sure what he was going to try to do. I wanted to click Signal Beam. Just not enough risk reward for me here, as I'm just going to go out to Scarf Jirachi, who's going to take the Stealth Rock damage and then get hit with the U-turn, which is going to do a lot. Critical hit there doesn't really matter, as he's going to go out to Inflames the Victini. Now, I could have risked going for U-turn here on the Victini, but I did not want to risk losing Jirachi, a potential win con, to a speed tie, essentially. I wanted to keep Jirachi in the back nice and healthy, so I figured Kecleon was my best sack at this point. Kecleon got the Stealth Rocks up, there's not much it could do, and down goes Kecleon, in comes Aerodactyl now at this point. I do outspeed the Victini. He did go for Blue Flare, so I do resist it to an extent. I mean, Aerodactyl's not very good fire resist, doesn't take hits well. I go for the Pursuit here, exactly what I wanted to do with the Victini. Pursuit, trap it, and now it's in range of dying once it comes into Stealth Rocks, unless his Blastoise can get rid of them. But to prevent his Blastoise from getting rid of them, I do have Spiritomb to Spin Block. As my battle's lagging a little bit here, I might have to change the settings. At this point right now, I'm in a very good spot. His Blastoise taking chip damage from the poison. I can go out to my Spiritomb now. I can block his Rapid Spin. I want to defog with Aerodactyl, but I want the Victini dead. As long as Victini drops, then I'm free to just defog away. And here's where I have to start playing pretty aggressive at this point, because of his Raikou. Because that thing comes in and sets up a sub on my Spiritomb. It'll take 2 Shadow Sneaks to break break his substitute. So I'm in a tough spot here. I just go for the Toxic. I was really anticipating Raikou to come in. I could have gone for a Shadow Sneak, get some residual damage off on the Blastoise, but I felt like Raikou was the better play. I felt like going for the Toxic, just in case the Raikou wanted to come in, was the better play, because he can set up a sub and Toxic my Spiritomb. But his Blastoise goes for Roar instead, brings out the Jolteon, so this allows me to get some pretty good momentum, because he doesn't have a good Jolteon switch in right now. He's just going to go out to Chimera, which is his Nihilego, or Chimera, and I'm just going to Volt Switch away. My Scarf Garchomp, which was one of my solutions to the Nihilego, is actually gone, but I do have another one in Jirachi, and here I really wasn't expecting him to stay in. I kind of just click U-turn, expecting him to switch out. So I just have to end up sacking another Pokemon here, just going for an over-prediction. I could have clicked Ironhead, knocked out the Jirachi. He was probably anticipating to outspeed. But he goes for Thunderbolt, and Jolteon actually gets another turn to live at this point. Thanks to the Volt Absorb, I'm able to gain some HP back, so Jolteon can now go for another Volt Switch at this point. And I can go back out to Jirachi and click U-turn again and knock out the Nihilego with the U-turn, actually. Thunderbolt doesn't do much to Jirachi. But instead he goes for the Power Gem, which I resist, and it actually does a decent amount of damage anyway, though. But now I'm just going to click U-turn here, see what he's going to go out to. He goes out to his Blastoise, which now is going to take Stealth Rock damage. It's now going to take U-turn damage and Toxic damage, all in the same turn. So now his Blastoise is real weak, and I just go out to my Spiritomb, because I have Shadow Sneak, which can take it out. I have Sucker Punch, which can take it out. And this way, it really prevents him from rapid spinning. And that was the most important thing, is I did not want him rapid spinning and getting rid of those rocks, because Victini comes back in, and at this point, I have no Victini answers. Garchomp's gone. Aerodactyl is going to take a chunk from Stealth Rocks and then probably end up dying to Blue Flare. But he goes for the Scald here and is going to do a good chunk of damage. I go for the Toxic because I keep anticipating that Raikou to come in. It just comes in freely versus Spiritomb, and I just want to slap a Toxic on that Raikou. I want the Raikou on a timer since it is a subset. And Blastoise here just going to start taking more damage. And finally, I just bring back Spiritomb. I wasn't risking it, and decide just to sack off my Jolteon here, because at this point Jolteon does not do much for me the rest of the game. I do need Spiritomb for the priority. So down goes Jolteon. Now we're in a real bad spot. We're down 6-3, I believe. But his Blastoise will die to Toxic. So that is a positive here, is Spiritomb will be able to pick up a kill, but he lives with 1 HP. So now my Jirachi's taking some Stealth Rock damage. And I'm in a very tough spot. Just going to go for U-turn. Jirachi's going to pick up just nice, easy little revenge kill. Rocks stay on his side of the field, so I know Victini at this point now will die. So I can just go out to Aerodactyl now pretty safely. He really has nothing for my Aerodactyl, as he's going to go out to Salamence here. And now this is where I kind of really struggled on some plays. He actually goes Victini here. He did show the foul play, but he is in range of Stone Edge killing if I connect it, and I do. So Aerodactyl's going to pick up 1 kill here. And now it's looking a little bit better. Knocked out 2 Pokemon in 2 turns. Starting to really make a comeback here. And he's going to go out to Shadowfall the Salamence. He's going to get the Intimidate off. And at this point, this is where I really wish I was, what is it? I stayed in and went for Stone Edge. I really wish I did, because I could have gotten a crit, but I could have also really weakened it to the point where Spiritomb can come back in and just revenge kill this thing, and I wouldn't have had to worry about this Salamence at all after this point. All I would have had to worry about would have been a Nihilego, which dies to Scarfarachi Ironhead, and then I would have also had to worry about Raikou late in the game. Victini will end up dying to rocks. So at this point, I was just in a real tough spot. He set up the Dragon Dance. Then he just goes for the Supersonic Sky Strike just to flex his muscles here. Kind of just showing that the game's over. Had he been Moxie Salamence, I probably would have stayed in with Aerodactyl and just gone for Stone Edge. So I go out to Jirachi here. He's base 100, I'm base 100. I'm Jolly, he's more than likely Jolly. So as long as I win the speed tie, I have a very good chance of winning, but We lost the speed tie, and that will be the game. I clicked Iron Punch, not Iron Punch, I clicked Ice Punch there just to knock out the Salamence. And in hindsight, I can't do much about that. I just put myself in a position to where the game came down to me risking a speed tie. Granted, I don't think Ice Punch would have KO'd Nihilego, and I would have needed some major luck with the Raikou to an extent, but good game, Neon or Eric. Not much I can say about it. Just another game where I'm just not prepared enough for Raikou. I felt like I was prepared for the rest of the team. It's just really wasn't prepared for Raikou at all, especially Subtoxic. I probably could have played around that a little bit better, and really could have played the late game a little bit better. Really wasn't thinking through what what moves late in the game would have helped me win. I did think Ice Punch would do it, but lost the speed tie there. But just because I lost the speed tie doesn't really guarantee I win the rest of the game. So if you guys enjoyed our Week 1 battle, go ahead, leave a like on the video, comment your guys' support for the ICBA, go over, sub to their channel, the ICBA channel, and go over and sub to Eric. With all that being said, guys, I'm Johnny GB, and I'm out.